sponsor aquí también de algunos eventos y por supuesto pautan su periódico, que es muy importante aquí en la ciudad de Houston, en la ciudad espacial. Elsa, pues nos tenemos que ir, qué lástima.
Ya nos vamos, se pasó rapidísimo. Muchísimas gracias a todas las personas que nos sintonizaron. Ya lo saben, el domingo hay un evento y pues bueno, nosotros nos vemos el próximo viernes, ¿no, Gustavo?
Recuerden, claro que sí, próximo viernes nos vemos, vamos a estar aquí con toda la programación de NowMedia Televisión. Fin de semana estaremos acompañando a Saralina Cerón. Yo soy Gustavo Soto, les envío un fuerte y caluroso abrazo, muchos éxitos y bendiciones. Nos vemos la próxima semana.
Adiós. Adiós.
Esto fue una producción de NowMedia Televisión. Todos los derechos reservados.
Broadcasting live from Houston, from the space city to the world. You are watching NowMedia Television.
Welcome to Power CEOs, the truth behind the business. I'm Jen Gaudet, your fearless host, entrepreneur, investor, and business strategist. And I am here today because I believe that iron sharpens iron. When we bring successful entrepreneurs in here and talk about what's working in business and maybe even what isn't, and we share that, then all of us are able to learn and grow together. As a result, we grow professionally, our businesses grow, and the impact just spills over into our families, our teams, their families, our clients, our communities, and our world. I'm really excited to be here today. I have part 2 of the marketing guru, Aoife Roche, here in studio with me, and she is going to be giving all kinds of gems on how to get people's attention in a crowded marketplace, where is marketing going, and how the heck do I get started with that anyway? Welcome back to the studio, Aoife.
Thanks, Jen. So appreciative to be here.
So let's just dive right in. You are a marketing guru. Marketing has changed completely over the last, especially the last maybe 12 to 14 months. How are you navigating those waters? And as entrepreneurs, what are the things that we need to be considering when we think about marketing?
Yeah, so I think what happened, especially during the pandemic, is, you know, everything got shut down and everyone had to go online, and people were sort of forced to accelerate the business growth, especially with regard to their marketing. People who never had to market themselves because they had footfall into their business now found themselves in a position where they had to go get online, and they had to get online fast. And that has caused like a huge shift, positively and negatively. Positively in the fact that people realized the value of marketing, and actually when they got more exposure online and on the digital platforms, how much more their business could actually grow. But then negatively, because a lot of people actually got burned in the process because they didn't know what they didn't know. They didn't know who to look for. They didn't know who was the right person. And because things had to be done so accelerated, I think that really shifted the game for marketing consultants. And, you know, me and you had a conversation earlier. Everyone became a social media marketing expert overnight, when in actual fact, like, it takes years of research, of testing, of trying, of creative thinking to really kind of get a grasp on the marketing. And then the minute you think you have a grasp on it, something will change and then you have to go again. So from a marketing perspective, I think it's very, very important that people understand that this is a very dynamic game that we're playing, and it's changing on a daily basis.
And so let's dive into marketing as a meta concept, because I know you are a digital marketing expert. But marketing is not just digital. Like, what is the whole scope of marketing? What does it encompass? Because some people, like, I know this is a common misconception, especially in a lot of the small businesses, because they all of a sudden come from corporate, they go into business for themselves, and they lump sales and marketing into the same like bucket, and they think that sales and marketing are one and the same. So I guess first, like, delineate what exactly is marketing and when does it become the sales cycle? And also, what are all the different forms of marketing, so then we can drill down and really have that conversation?
Yeah, so I think, and there's even one more vertical. There is branding, there is marketing, and there is sales. And branding is not your logo and the colors of your logo, right?
Oh, it's not?
It's not. realize it. Your branding is who you are and what you do, and it is who your company is and what your company does. And before you go out and hemorrhage, because what I see people do is they don't really know what their brand is. And they go, I'm going to bring in a marketing agency and I'm going to pay a marketing agency to tell me who I am. And then it doesn't work. Because how can you expect an external to be able to come in and give you who you are as an identity? So before anyone goes out and spends a lot of money out going out marketing, is first of all you need to establish personal brand and business brand. What is my personal brand if you're the CEO? And that even if you're not putting a personal brand out there in a social media platform, but as a business owner, who are you? What are your values? You just led to that topic there. What are your values as a business owner? What is your mission? What are you trying to achieve? And really anchoring in to building that personal brand and then building out the business brand. What is my business going to do? What is my business designed to do? Who are the people I'm going to serve? And getting very clear on having that marketing message. The marketing message comes very easily when you have a very clear brand, when you know who you are. Where people trip up is where they're trying to go out and do the marketing and across. It doesn't matter any marketing message, whether you're doing TV, radio, you could be doing flyers, you could be doing brochures, you could be doing all the social media channels. If you are not clear on your marketing message because you haven't established who you are as a brand, it's not going to work. And then once the marketing message is clear, then you're going to attract the people where you can make the sales. And so it's a very much a sequential process. I define my brand, I define who I am, what are my values, what are my company values.
So before we go into that, can we go a little bit deeper in branding? Because personal brand is something that you and I have talked a lot about. And we've actually talked on different formats, different social media formats and platforms on this. But so many times, and I want to speak to the executives and the entrepreneurs, they think, I don't need to have a personal brand, that the company brand is all encompassing. And the same thing with entrepreneurs. They think that the company brand is all encompassing. But what we're seeing is a shift that if you don't have a strong personal brand and people can't find out who you are as the entrepreneur, then they don't want to do business with the company. Can you kind of talk a little bit about how that has shifted over time and the perception of personal brand and how important it is, whether you're an entrepreneur or an intrapreneur?
Yeah, so the bottom line is people buy from people that they know, that they like, and that they trust. And that is so whether you are an entrepreneur in the company that you're working with or whether you're an entrepreneur, building a personal brand is building an identity around the values that you bring to the table when you're doing business with other people. And that is so crucial. Like LinkedIn is one of the platforms that I do so much work on with helping people build and establish their personal brand. You want to be known as the expert authority in your area or in your niche. And whether that is that you're a CEO who's working in a business, or you are a CEO of your own business, or whether it's just that you are an entrepreneur in some vertical within the business, people are doing and working with you because of who you are and what you do, and you need to showcase that. Because I've seen this many times, that there will be an exit from the company, could be private equity, whatever might happen, and then the identity of the company gets stripped away, and that person who's helped to build the company, who's been, the pole that's kept that company up, is left without a company and left without a personal brand. And that's the challenge. It is so critically important that you are not only building the company brand, but you are building the personal brand, because at the end of the day, people are going to want to do business with you. We are human beings. It's about relationship. We're not doing business with a company because we like the logo or the way you do it. The colors. Or we're doing business because we like the people who are working in the business. And you've got to protect that and showcase that. And the more that you do that, the actual more opportunities you're going to bring, because people are attracted, because it demonstrates confidence, it demonstrates competence when they see you building your personal brand, because it establishes that identity.
Awesome. So personal brand, You need one.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this and you don't have a personal brand established, you're maybe afraid of being visible. That's the thing that really comes a lot, Aoife, and I think maybe you would be a great person to ask this question to. So many entrepreneurs are afraid to be on social media, are afraid to come out and be the face of their business. They're afraid to put their face out there. They're afraid of the video, whatever that may be. And it's a fear. It's a fear of rejection, maybe. Like, what is it that is the stopping block? Like, what is it that is keeping people from establishing their personal brand? Because you and I both know we've been in different areas. We've had different industries that we operate in, and your personal brand goes with you from business to business and helps you to establish that credibility and authority much more rapidly because of your proven results. But what is it that gets in people's way when it comes to the personal branding?
Yeah, and it's so simple but so complicated. What will they think? I don't know who they are. They, right? What will they think? And that's what the problem is. You say to people, I need you to do a video for me. They do the video, they might say, I recorded 15 videos, none of them were good enough. I'm like, who made that decision? And that's what holds people back. Is like, what if I put myself out there and I am rejected? What if I put myself out there and no one likes my video? What if I put myself out there and someone comments negatively? We had this conversation earlier about, if you put yourself out there, I can absolutely assure you, someone is going to say something about it. Everyone has an opinion, especially when you're putting yourself out there. But the only way to get great is to be okay with not being good. And the first time that people go on video, they're like, oh, if I look, even my social media, someone said it to me there recently, they were like, the change in your social media. And I was like, yeah, because I kept showing up even when I didn't want to. I kept doing the videos. I posted the videos. I might have posted them and deleted them and posted them and deleted them, but I still took the action. And the only way that you're going to get over that fear is by doing it. And that it's that fear that paralyzes you. But once you can realize it's not really about you, if the video is about you, and you think that people are paying attention and it's about you, you should be kind of trying to shift that mindset and going, how can I teach people something? How can I add value? What can I do that I'm making this a little less about me? Because when it's about ourselves, that's when we get tangled. Oh, I don't look good enough. My hair's not right. There's all of these excuses that I hear from people for not showing up and doing the content. But the only way you are going to get the reach, the only way you're going to get the exposure is by putting yourself out there, because there is absolutely no point in you being at home being the best kept secret.
That's absolutely right. And some of the best businesses and the best business owners are the best kept secret. Yeah. And they sit there and they wonder why someone who delivers subpar results are actually more successful. It's just because they're putting themselves out there. And to your point, and we actually talked about this last session. Resilience, it's a muscle. Like, we're gonna fail. Yeah. The first time I went live, it was hysterical. I am not tech savvy. I was sideways the whole time, and I didn't even know, because I didn't want to look at it, because I didn't want to do this. And so when I compare when I first started to what happens now, I'm on television. Yeah. I'm not comfortable with that. It was a muscle. It was something that I had to do and be okay with, hey, I'm never going to like the way my voice sounds, the way I look, what I have to say, how I stutter, whatever it might be. I'm never going to be happy with it, but I have to be happy with imperfect action, because it always keeps us moving forward. And I think that's kind of in a summation exactly what you said. Just go out and do it and build the muscle, because the more you do it, things that are uncomfortable, you get a little bit more comfortable being uncomfortable.
That's it. And one of the quickest ways that I've asked people to do, I'm like, go on your stories and just talk on your stories on social media. If you really hate being on the camera, because your stories, you're a little bit contained, because people are actually going in watching that. It's not like it's exposed out to other people. So I'm like, these people are coming in watching that. So they're obviously interested in what you're doing and who you are. If you're really that uncomfortable that you don't want to do a video and just post a video, start with a little small basic thing, like I'm going to do 15 seconds on a story. And you will be so surprised. You do 15 seconds, and you'll do 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 60. And then all of a sudden you're sitting there in front of the camera like we are now, and you're just talking on a video and answering questions and doing that. But you've just got to set yourself these little milestones, and do it. You learn by doing, and then when you make a mistake, like Jen talked earlier, you learn to laugh at that, and you just learn to be like, okay, that happened, it's going to make a good story, you know what I mean? And you just move on, you dust yourself off and you move on. Like, if you're not making mistakes, you're not learning.
Let's talk about those fails. I have forgotten my name on an interview on, major format TV. I've forgotten my name when I was on stage in front of 10,000 people. Like, the reality is we all fail. But if we let that stop us, then we wouldn't be where we are today. So we talked about the importance of personal brand, the importance of getting out of your own way by taking little steps and maybe just starting on your stories so that you can build that muscle. And then we talked about overarching marketing. Marketing, you need a message, you need to know your brand, your values, what it is that you're selling before you go market it, because otherwise you're throwing money away. So now let's talk about the marketing piece. Because it's completely an anomaly to those of us who are not marketing experts. How do we choose the right marketing company? As entrepreneurs who are not marketers, what are the questions we should be asking? What are the things to be looking at when we're considering, we've already got our marketing message, we've already got that ironed out, we already have a product that's selling, maybe we're having organic success, and now we want to turn on the lead generation. Like, what do we need to be asking people to make sure that we're not being taken on a ride by somebody who's claiming that they can do something that is just absolutely unattainable?
Yeah, so I think first and foremost, if someone is coming to you with a marketing offer, I had one, we were talking earlier in my LinkedIn, I'll get you 50 qualified leads within 10 days in your business or something to that effect. This person knew nothing about my business. They hadn't taken the time to ask me what I did, what my products were, what my services were. How can you tell me that you're going to deliver a result if you don't even understand what I do? So I think that is one of the first things that you want to pay very close attention to, how interested the agency that you're talking to is in learning about what you do. If they tell you, yeah, don't worry about it, we can do it, there's probably just going to be some generic cookie cutter approach to your marketing. There's going to be no differentiation. You're going to be the same as everybody else, and you're going to hemorrhage a budget. You want to find someone who takes a vested interest into learning about what your business does, what are your strengths, what are the intricacies that make you different, what are the unique selling propositions that you have when compared to your competitors, or when they're coming to the conversation going, did you see this person did that? Because they've taken the time to actually do the research. There are no shortcuts to this. Marketing takes time. It takes time to understand the business. It takes time to understand the messaging. And then it's also when you're going out, before you kind of engage in a marketing agency, be very, very clear on who your avatar is. Who are you targeting, right? Because when you try to market to everyone, you market to nobody. And if a marketing agency is coming in saying, I'm going to put you on all of the platforms. Now, I do recommend that everyone is omnipresent, but I never start clients on every platform. I'm like, let's just start with this one, which I think is the one that where your avatar is on. Let's see how that goes, and we'll test that, and then we can add services. If someone's trying to sell you that they want you to try every single platform and every single format, one, you're going to get totally overwhelmed. That's number one, because every platform is slightly different in what they want. And two, you're never going to really know what's working unless you're hemorrhaging an amount of cash to be putting onto these different platforms to run the paid media and the paid traffic. So I would be more leaning towards find the person who takes a vested interest in your business, identifies the unique selling points and the intricacies, and then makes a suggestion to you of the platform that they think you're going to have the most success on. They might suggest two. I could say, I think let's try LinkedIn for your personal and business branding. And then because we know there's more reach on TikTok, let's go there to get more eyeballs on your brand. But I'm not going to say, go, let's do LinkedIn, let's do TikTok, let's do Pinterest, let's do Twitter, let's do, you know what I mean?
And.
Yeah. And here's my bill at the end of the day. That's just not going to work.
Well, and truthfully, like one of the things that we talk about a lot in the show, and as a business strategist who works with CEOs on the executive function, it's important that we're able to track our results. Yeah. If we go from nothing to all of a sudden everything, it becomes a tracking nightmare, especially because, I'm just going to be frank, the majority of entrepreneurs hate numbers. They hate the numbers. It's like pulling teeth. That is the hardest thing, is to train, to get them to look at it and to understand it. And so if we all of a sudden throw out all of this new data, they don't know how to make sense of it for themselves, for their own knowledge, to know, oh, okay, yeah, that isn't working, this is, or to even see like where the leads are coming from and where the quality leads are coming from, because they get overwhelmed. And so I'm going to ask you the next question, because I think it's very pertinent, and that's, as entrepreneurs, when we start this journey, one of the things a lot of my clients are always unhappy with in marketing is they pay for an organic social media approach. And then they expect a result 2 months later that they're 10x getting all these leads from an organic approach to social media when they're starting from scratch. Okay, I'm just going to say they're starting from scratch. And they haven't got any content. So talk to us a little bit about realistic expectations and the difference between the organic social media versus paid marketing, whether it's Facebook or LinkedIn or Google or traditional ads on television or radio.
Yeah, so that's such a key point. And Facebook have very openly gone, and you can look at any of the reports or whatever, and have said about 4 to 6% of people see your posts on social media, right? That's just, so if you, let's say you have 100 followers.
That follow you.
Yeah, that follow you. Yeah, so you have 100 followers, right? You do a post, 4 to 6 people, might see it. 2 of them are probably your family and they might like it, But the organic, it's a pay-to-play environment, and I know it's not fair. But the only real platforms where you're going to see real organic reach at the moment is 1 on LinkedIn and 2 on TikTok. Instagram Reels to a certain degree, but now it's even getting more complicated than what it was previously with all the new algorithm updates. So saying I'm going to do this organically it's almost kind of setting yourself up for failure with regard to the social media platform, because it's so competitive and people are paying to be there. And at the end of the day, Facebook and those sort of platforms are a business, and if they have someone who's going to post on content and not pay them to boost the content versus someone who's going to pay them to boost the content, whose content do you think that they're actually going to show? It's
Absolutely.
A business after all. So having an organic strategy, unless for some reason that you have built a big audience, or that you are able to leverage other people's audiences, or you're able to get on other people's platforms, whether that be on Instagram Live or TikTok Live, that you can leverage other people's audiences, thinking that you're just going to be able to do that on your own organically is going to be very, 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 very challenging, and it's going to take you a very, very long time. Now, the opposing side to that is that you start to look at paid traffic. Now, there's many ways you can use paid traffic. You can use paid traffic where you can, run ads, which are very strategic ads with call to actions. But, and I'll drop some gold here, there is also ways that you can just put a video on there and you can run. I don't recommend people boosting posts that much because you can't track the data. But on the back, your marketing agency, or you can talk to someone who has expertise in the ad manager account, you can just put a little bit of spend behind those videos. I looked at a video yesterday I'm running for one of my clients. I'm doing some videos for her. Her organic reach was 10 video views.
Wow.
Paid traffic on the video that I launched, 24 hours between the video, 1.5 thousand. I spent $20 on the video. So you think about that. You have 10 views, you put $20 and I got 1.5 thousand video views. So you've got to really be mindful of looking at how can I allocate some spend to get me the reach that I want to get out there. Because without a paid strategy, now TikTok is a little bit different. That's the Wild Wild West, to be honest. Anything can go viral on TikTok, and you can get a lot of followers and a lot of reach on TikTok and potentially on LinkedIn by leveraging LinkedIn audio and all of these kind of platforms. But other than that, the older, more mature social media platforms, the organic is a long and a hard road unless you're able to really leverage other creators who have big audiences.
Absolutely, and I think that's something that's very key, and it's about managing expectations, but it's also something that if you're talking to your marketing agency, they should be articulating this to you. If they're saying they're going to manage your social media account, organic social media account, and get these results, the reality is if you're starting from scratch, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be a long, arduous task. And it's very hard to really track the ROI in that circumstance for a very long lot of reasons. We do have to take a brief break. We'll be right back after these messages.
As a critical aspect of your operations, you need the right technology partner to provide you and your business the peace of mind of having reliable and efficient IT systems. In addition, with cyber threats, ransomware at an all-time high, adequate, continuous, and proactive data protection for your business is an absolute must. Hi, this is Roland Parker with Impress Computer Solutions. We are experts in tailored IT solutions and professional 24/7 IT support services. We proactively monitor, maintain, manage, and protect your IT and data assets. Additionally, we have the know-how and horsepower to do the correct procuring of any and all computer systems or software your company may need. Having the correct IT infrastructure and not being able to operate safely and correctly is very expensive and can eventually destroy growth. So take a decisive step and call me today for a complimentary consultation at 281-647-9977 for your unique IT needs.
You probably already know that first impressions are never forgotten. However, did you also know the way you feel about yourself contributes to your quality of life and the opinions of others? Hi, my name is Kristen Gunderson. My mission is to help people by flipping the switch inside their body, which in turn will help them to feel better and do more. In fact, once you feel your best, you will be able to pour into others, keep your cup full, and reach every goal you have set up for yourself, whether it's personal, family, or business related. The way you feel will dictate the way you think and the way you live your life. Feeling your best is necessary to achieve your goals. You deserve to put yourself first. Let me help you flip the switch so you can feel better and do more. Let's talk. I know I can help.
Hi, my name is Elias Basabe, founder of Little Maria's Cafe restaurant in West Houston, located in 2901 Wilkers Drive, Suite 137, first floor. Here you will find a family-friendly and relaxed environment where you can enjoy a delicious homemade breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We know you need to get to work fast, and we want you to enjoy a tasty, quality, and healthy homemade food. So come and visit us for a great nutritious meal at an affordable price. We specialize in tasty breakfasts, deli sandwiches, fish, even barbecue cookouts. Little Maria's Cafe has it all. We only use the great quality of bird's head meats and products. Just like you, we love to get you up early. Little Maria's Cafe is open from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can dine in with us during breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or we can have it ready for you for pickup. Visit us today on the first floor of the CMPC Center at 2901 Wilkers Drive, Suite 137, first floor. Order now at 832-667-8376, Little Maria's Cafe.
I was recently asked what it means to be a family lawyer. What is family law? Family law is not just about divorce or custody or child support. Family law is about your life. As a family lawyer, I protect your children, your wealth, your future. I don't do this alone. As your attorney, we work as a team to determine your goals and priorities and provide a strategy in an often complex, painful, and confusing time. Whether it's asset protection through pre- or post-marital agreements, or fighting to protect your children, I'm here to help. My team and I bring decades of combined experience to support you and your family in all aspects of family and wealth planning, from estate and legacy planning, to divorce and child custody issues, to representation in complex litigation cases. Take a decisive step. We're here when you're ready. Remember, it's about your life.
Hey, Lily says AT&T's giving everyone their best deals.
Minus the air quotes.
Best deals.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Told you, the best deals are for everyone here, with a choice of plans.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
At AT&T, we give everyone our best deals on every smartphone.
Welcome back to Power CEOs, the truth behind the business. I'm Jen Gaudet, your fearless host, entrepreneur, investor, and business strategist. And I'm here in studio with Aoife Roach, and we are talking about all things marketing. We talked about personal branding, the importance of a personal brand, a business brand, before we talk about paying any money for marketing. Because if we don't have a brand and we don't have a brand message or a marketing message, then we're just throwing money away, and we don't have money to throw away as entrepreneurs. Then we moved into organic social media marketing and some other forms, and we talked a little bit about paid posts. And right before the break, we talked about TikTok. So if you're just now joining us, make sure you go to NowMedia.tv, go to shows, and watch the first segment, because it was filled with all kinds of value from Aoife and her expertise. But we're going to dive right back in, because she mentioned that TikTok is the wild, wild west. And in the break, we were talking about how it's very easy to have an organic reach uptick and random posts will go viral. But what is the qualification of the leads that are coming from our social media, and how do we find qualified leads as opposed to filling up our funnels, if you will, with people who are never going to have an intention of buying? And so I kind of want to go into that direction with you, Aoife, because we had quite a great conversation over the break. So talk to us a little bit about qualified leads. What does that look like, and how is TikTok changing that game?
Yeah, so, well, a couple of things on TikTok. So TikTok has always been the short form video content, right? So we had the 7 to 14 seconds. TikTok really, in reality, is actually taking on Google as a search engine. That is what is actually happening. And last year, I think they were only a couple of seconds off actually beating Google as a search engine. So there's been this sort of war going on in the background between YouTube and TikTok and Google about, you know, who would be the biggest search engine. And that's what we see now with there being a shift on TikTok. There was an algorithm update in February where TikTok is now moving into longer form content. Yes, you heard me right. TikTok algorithm now wants your videos to be 2 minutes plus, which is a huge shift on that platform. Because, you know, we had these short form dancing videos, these little bite-sized pieces of information, the attention economy, no one had attention. Everything had to be, you know, under a minute or they weren't going to watch it. But now TikTok is shifting, and it's shifting because it wants to become a search engine. It wants to become a search engine and an advertising platform. If you go on TikTok, I actually did a video on TikTok about this there during the week. If you go on TikTok right now and you look at your video, above there's going to be a search bar above your video, and TikTok is going to tell you what it thinks your video is. So if you would search mine, you'll see LinkedIn profile tips is what comes up in a lot of my videos, because I talk a lot about LinkedIn. If TikTok does not know who you are or what you are as a creator, it's going to say find related content. Now what TikTok is now doing is it is pushing creators to create longer form content so that it can figure out who you are as a creator, index your content, and then show it to the relevant people to go to Jen's next point, so that it can push and build itself as not only a search engine, but in ads platform. So the TikTok ads platform has been available probably about 14 or 15 months now. It's kind of been, like we said, TikTok as itself is the wild, wild west, but it now setting itself up to really be an advertising platform like Facebook was in the beginning. And then we get into this whole minefield of, okay, I'm creating content on these social media platforms and I'm getting all of these attention and I'm getting these people filling out lead forms. Let's say on Facebook, you even have instant forms, on TikTok and these kind of things. But how am I qualifying these people, and how and that's the challenge, right? Because you can have a marketing company come in, you can pay them lots of money, and then they can say, right, we're going to get you leads, right? That's normally standard metric. If you're looking for what your marketing agency is going to deliver, they're going to deliver you leads. But that's not the right question to ask. The right question is, what is the quality and the qualification of those leads? Because if you get someone who generates you 200 leads, for example, that's 200 sales calls. That's 200 appointments that someone has to go out and call and make. If you don't have a process in there to qualify the lead, you're going to end up, and I think, Jen, you mentioned this earlier, as challenges you've seen with your clients, is they end up getting leads that are not qualified or don't have the purchasing or buying power to be able to afford the products or services. So that's another really, really key point that you need to factor into your marketing plan. Of course, there's going to be a subset that are not going to be able to afford your products and services. That's inevitable. But if you have 85% of the leads coming in not being able to afford your products and services, there is something going wrong between what you're doing to grab the attention in the marketing message and in the pre-qualification of those leads before they sign up.
And long story short, you've just created a whole lot of work for you, your team, and that's, time is money. Let's be real, time is money, and we need to be making sure our teams are effective and efficient. And if we're throwing 200 people in who are not qualified in any way, shape, or form and taking up our team's time, that's taking it away from potential actual sales. So when we think about that, we're moving from marketing into sales, right? So at the beginning of the show, we talked about, okay, there's branding, and then you get your marketing message, and then you turn on the marketing, and then there's the sales process. So when does it shift from marketing to sales? Because, hey, I said I was going to get you 100 appointments. I fulfilled my job. I got you 100 leads. You have 100 appointments, like marketing, getting leads in the door. But now you got to close the leads. Yeah. So when does it shift from marketing and grabbing that attention to the actual sale?
Yeah, and that's such a key point that people often underestimate, and it's the ability to close. You get people come in and say, right, I got all these leads, and then you're putting leads in and then the leads aren't converting. There's two questions that I ask in that situation. First of all, what's the quality of the lead, and how are we qualifying them to make sure that they can afford the products and services? And the second thing is, who's taking the call? Who is taking the call? Sales is something you have, unless you're a natural born salesperson, and generally those people are like, the entrepreneurs out there, natural born. But sales is a skill. It's something you have to learn. It's not like that we wake up in the morning and we're like master salespeople. It is something that you have to learn. And if you cannot sell your products and services, you cannot get angry if your team cannot sell your products and services because they're not getting a clear direction. So you have to, first of all, make sure that when you are getting the leads, before you go investing all of this money in the marketing leads, are you actually setting yourself up for success? Do you have a team of salespeople or a rock star closer who's going to be the person that's going to, because otherwise, and honestly, and I'll be totally transparent, it happened to me about 12 months ago. I ran a campaign. It was very successful. We got 250 leads, it was about 250, 280 leads within 30 days. I wasn't set up. I couldn't do 250 to 280 sales calls and run my business and manage my teams. So a lot of those leads, because this is another thing that's also super important, is the speed at which you contact the lead. If you're leaving a lead go for 28 to 48 hours, they're pretty much dead. They've either gone, we have an attention economy right now. We want the answer now. If I fill out a form, I want someone calling me back within 12 to 24 hours, either trying to, because I filled out the form. I expressed my interest in you. You showed me something, I said yes, I've expressed my interest. If you don't come back to me for 7 days, or you don't come back to me for 10 days, the likelihood of me having gone out and tried to find someone else to fulfill that need or that desire or that want is very, very high. So you've got to make sure that, it's all intrinsically linked. You're running your marketing campaign. Your marketing campaign is going to result in leads. Your leads are going to have to be qualified, and once the leads are qualified and they're coming into the business, you have to have the sales and the closing team in there to be able to actually, and that's got to be done fast. Like we literally, we automate our entire sales process with regard to the minute somebody fills out a form on my website, they instantly get a text message. They instantly get an email to get them booked on a call. If they haven't responded within 24 hours, and you can automate that kind of stuff. And that's the sort of stuff that your marketing agency, if they're not talking to you about that, they need to be talking to you about that. Because otherwise you're going to get leads that fill out forms and they go into no man's land in the hope that someone's going to pick them up. And again, you're just wasting money on doing this lead generation because you haven't got the infrastructure in there to support you.
Yeah, something that we talk about a lot with our clients, because, when we look at the business as a whole, we have to fix any holes. We have to have our processes in place so that we can actually deliver the things that we promise that we're going to deliver as a brand, right? Because if you can't deliver on your brand promise, then it doesn't matter how many leads you get and how many sales you're going to get. You're going to have one-time buyers and your reputation is going to go, and it's just going to basically flop, right? So you have to have that baseline. And then once you have that baseline, you have to know who you are, what you stand for. Are you able to deliver on that process? Can you deliver the results? Then can you articulate that in a way that closes the clients? Because if you can't close let's be real, most businesses start with word of mouth and who do you know, right? They all start there. If you're not able to sell in a warm market where people already know, like, and trust you, the reality is, how are you going to sell a cold market when they don't know you? Yeah. So you have a tested concept, you're able to deliver, you're able to convert the warm leads, you have that process. If you don't have the process in place and you can't convert, it doesn't matter if you get 13,000 leads, that's just a lot more work. So working on your sales conversion and then turning on the pipeline so that you can fill that. So I think it's so incredibly important to have that infrastructure. Thank you for going through that. So now I want to shift just a little bit, because you truly are an expert in the marketing space. We've talked a lot about how to find the right marketing company, the things to ask, to have major red flags if they don't ask you about your sales process and how are you going to close the leads that come in the door, or if they promise something that's over the moon that they absolutely couldn't deliver. Be wary of that in anything, not just marketing. If it sounds too good to be true, the reality is probably too good to be true. So let's move away from that and let's move a little bit more into how important is it that your marketing team analyzes the data and stays up to date on that. Talk a little bit about the beta test, like the A/B testing, and some of the things that need to be happening behind the scenes, because as entrepreneurs don't know what they don't know. Yeah. Right? That's why they get a coach, that's why they get other experts to do the things. But that's where we get taken advantage of. If we don't know the questions to ask, we don't know what's happening behind the scenes or what should be happening behind the scenes, then we don't know to ask the question about how am I going to get those analytics from my marketing team. So talk a little bit about the data and how often, what should be happening, how often should we be looking at those? Like, can we just have an ad and set it, forget it forever and ever and ever? Like, what does that look like on the back end?
Yeah, so every ads platform, whether it be Google, Facebook, or TikTok, all have ads managers or business manager accounts, that we call it. And within that, there is a whole series of data that's being constantly presented. And you need to ensure that the person you are dealing with understands what that data means and makes the decisions on the back of the data. I never make decisions. A client might come to me and be like, oh, this isn't working, and I look at the data. Before I'll even take into consideration the opinion or the emotion, I look, what does the data tell me? And so you want, from a marketing perspective, in generally sometimes we do bi-weekly, but I prefer kind of monthly reporting to be delivering in monthly reports into the client and sitting down and explaining the numbers. Then the key numbers that you really want to be tracking in your business. The first you want, an easier one, is the cost per click, right? You want to be, how much does it cost me for someone to click on my ad, right? Because then you can kind of get an average of, if I spend $100 and it costs me $1 for a click, I know I'm going to get 100 clicks. Then the next question is, okay, of those clicks, how many of them actually took an action? So that's what we would call a cost per lead. So how many of them actually took action on my site? So let's say, I'm just going to keep the 100 as an example. Let's say I get 100 clicks and I have 20 people take action. Okay, so now I know my cost per lead is $5. I hope I get my numbers right now. I'm doing this on the spot. So now I know my cost per lead is $5. Next thing I want to look at is, what's my cost per acquisition? So how much is it actually costing me to acquire the customer? So let's say I have 20 of these people and I'm not very good at closing, and one of those people converted. So now I know my cost per acquisition. Even though I got 100 link clicks, 20 of them filled out my form, I only closed one of those people. So my cost per acquisition now is $100. So I know if I want, if I'm selling a product that's $2,000, am I worried about spending $100 to make $2,000? No. And that's what we call then your ROAS, which is your return on your ad spend. So how much are you spending to acquire a customer versus how much does that customer make you? And then that kind of goes into a whole other direction, because it's not just how much does that customer make you on the front end, but what's the lifetime value of that customer? So then you start to look at it like that. So if you have a lead, let's say, for example, to acquire a customer, it costs you $1,000, but that customer pays you $1,000 over the course of a year, and it turns into a $12,000 because you did, like Jen said, you deliver on your brand promise, you do the work that you said you were going to do, you're very transparent in your marketing, then you know that the lifetime value of that, you're getting a 12x return on your investment. And these are the numbers that you want to be sitting down with someone and never be afraid to say to them, can you explain that to me? Can you explain what that number means? Because often they can throw it over the fence and they expect that you're not expected to understand. You're the business owner. We're the marketers. We're the ones that are supposed to understand the data. And if we don't understand the data, we should have data scientists within our team who understand the data, so they can be clearly articulated to you so that you can understand that. So if you don't have that level of transparency, you're not going to be able to effectively be able to scale your marketing, because you don't know how much it's costing you to acquire a customer.
And it's the same thing when we talk about any numbers in our business, right? Mm-hmm. If you sell a hamburger for $1, but it costs you $1.50 to make it, selling 2 million extra hamburgers is only going to get you further in the hole. It's not actually going to help you. The same applies to your marketing. If you don't understand what your cost per acquisition is, you may have a low cost per click, mm-hmm. but your cost per acquisition is $150, but you have a $99 product and it's a one-time buy. Well, you're going to lose money all day, every day. So it's so incredibly important that your marketing team or the people that you hire to do this are able to keep the track of this, explain this to you, and show you where it's going. Because as entrepreneurs, as executives, it's our role to make sure that where we're spending money, we're investing it so that it can make more money. We don't want to be throwing it down the tubes. So that was really helpful. Thank you for just really dialing that in. And so now I'm going to ask you the next question, which is, for those people who are watching, for those people who might be entrepreneurs, or even they're in and they have another marketing agency, but they're not getting this data. What is the way to communicate, hey, I need this? Because a lot of entrepreneurs, and what I have found is they're afraid to ask the question. Mm-hmm. You can't be afraid to ask the question, but it's not that they're necessarily afraid to ask the question. They don't know the right questions to ask. And so now that they know to ask about the return on ad spend, or to ask about what is the cost per acquisition, how can they get over the hurdle of, I've been using these people for a really long time, I don't want to offend them or whatnot, even though they're paying them for a service. Like, how do we get through that crucial conversation lurch, if you will?
Yeah, and the approach that I much prefer, and if someone has a question for me, I will generally always say to them, can we jump on a call? Right? Things can get, like text messaging, and I know we're all instant communication and email, things can get lost and tone can be misinterpreted very, very easily. So if you do have questions around your number, or you're wanting more information, I would strongly suggest that you just reach out to, can we jump on a call do a Zoom call, because what's very easy on a Zoom call, because this is something you also have to be aware of, trust but verify, okay? So someone can tell you the numbers, or like, you know, I had someone once deliver me in a report. I said, I don't want a report. Send me the screenshot of the dashboard. I want a screen, and they were like, oh, why do you want that? And I was like, why do you not want to give it to me? Yeah, which is a better question, right? So like what I would do, I would open up, you know, have a call with people and open up the dashboard and walk through so you can see the numbers. And if there is hesitation on the agency side, you know, just for me, I would just be careful with a red flag on that. But like the communication style, you want it as much as you can. Try to make it in person, because you don't want you coming, oh, I want the numbers from my agency, you know, thing, and it to come across as aggressive, because then everyone will get their back up. And then that's not really the way that we want to be moving forward, especially if we've built a synergistic relationship with this person. We're just going to say, look, I respect what you're doing. I just want to understand at a deeper level where we are, so I can allocate my marketing spend and my marketing budget more effectively and more efficiently. And if, you know, for whatever reason that person is not receptive to that, well then, you know, there might be a wider discussion as why is there not transparency, because there has to be transparency in marketing. If something is not working, I would rather someone be upfront with me and tell me it's not working and give me the remediation that we're doing. This is what we're trying to do to fix it, rather than hide the problem from me. Because when people are hiding problems from you, it's only going to get you, like Jen said, deeper and deeper into the hole, because you're not going to know what you don't know. So the more you can request people, say, look, even if the news isn't great news, please be transparent with me about it so that I can make more informed decisions on how I want to move forward in my business. Maybe that means we'll part ways, maybe it won't. But you have to have that level of transparency, and if you don't have that, then that at some point is going to come back to bite you.
Absolutely, and communication is so key, and it's in every aspect. We talk about communication all the time on the show, and how important it is to have that open line of communication, to be honest, to be able to have a respectful disagreement even at times. But the reality is, Aoife, you are an expert in the space. You have dropped so much information, and so I know that there are going to be people who are listening to this show or watching the show that are going to be like, hey, I'm not happy with what's happening. Will you take a look? If they want to get in touch with you from a marketing standpoint, because you really are an expert in your space, how can they reach out to you?
Yeah, thank you for that, Jen. Yeah, so I I will normally go in and do an audit. To be honest, it's something that before anyone takes on your account, they should be doing an audit. So I will go in and I will have a look so that I can see what's happening with the numbers. So that's when I don't charge for that. That's something, because I have to decide whether it's something I want to take on or not, or whether I think it's a good fit. So you can contact me on my website. It's www.attentiongrabbersusa.com. There's a phone number on there. There's an instant chat there that will go into, it'll send a message directly to my team and they'll respond, or you can just book a call directly and you will get a strategy call 20 minutes. There's no cost to the strategy call. I'll go in. I'm very transparent. I'm very honest, and if I see something and I think there's a red flag, or if I think something is not working or not, I'm not going to be the type of person that tries to upsell people into things that they don't want, don't need, or if I don't think it's a good fit, because that doesn't work for anyone. But I will give you tips on the call about, maybe you should try this or this if I don't believe I'm a right fit, or I will refer you to someone in my network who I think might be a better fit than me.
That's super fantastic. If you are listening and you're not seeing the number on the screen, you can always go to attentiongrabbersusa.com and find Aoife. And Aoife, can you spell your name for everyone who is listening? Because I know they're going to want to follow you on social. You give so much information, especially if you're on LinkedIn. You're going to want to look Aoife up.
Yeah. So my name is spelled Aoife. So and then the surname is Roche. And then we're also on Tuesdays, Jen and I do a marketing room. Well, it's marketing, CEOs, it's everything, all-encompassing entrepreneur room on LinkedIn at 9 a.m. on Tuesdays.
That's Pacific time.
Pacific time, yeah. I forget.
11 Central.
In Ireland, we only have one time zone. We keep it nice and simple, but and we do that. And that room is always, Jen is always in there dropping so many like bombs, and we're talking about different topics. People can come, you can ask us questions. So that's another way that if you just want to connect with us, you're enjoying the quality of this conversation, that is another way that you can actually connect with both of us at the same time, which is great.
Absolutely. We will see you on LinkedIn at 11 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Pacific time on Tuesdays, and we can continue the conversation. That's a great forum. It's a great way that we share and lift each other up. We will bring you up into the LinkedIn audio so that you can actually ask the question and be a part of the collaboration and the conversation. And by the way, that's a great way to build your brand. So, Aoife, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for everything that you have brought in today. If there was one thing that you would say, this is what you should take away and implement today, right now, what would that be?
Yeah, the most important thing that you can start to do right now is going out there and building your personal brand. It's just so important. The business, if you have a solid personal brand, you can probably build any business. Build your personal brand, invest the time in figuring out who you are and starting to put this content out there so that you can showcase your skills. So personal branding is the foundation to everything else.
Fantastic. So you have your action step. You know we always end with an action step because listening to us for an hour is great. It's just like listening to a podcast or reading a book. If we don't put it into action, then nothing actually changes. And Aoife just gave you an amazing first step. That is to build your personal brand. If you're already working on your personal brand, go ahead and test the climate, test the waters and say, hey, when you think about me or you see my name, what are the first three words that come to your mind? What do you think of? And that way you can understand the perception of other people, because sometimes we build a brand and we think we're putting out a certain perception and we're looking at putting out a certain way, but the way others perceive us might be different. So if you're already in that process, test the waters, ask the question, and get the feedback so that you can make sure that you continue to build your personal brand so it's in alignment with your values, where you're going, and what you want to be putting out there. So unfortunately, all good things do come to an end, but I'm always here for you. If you heard some things and you're like, I need a little bit more on that, you can get in touch with Aoife, you can get in touch with me. We are always here to serve, and we are very excited to have you. We will see you again next week, same time, same station, but until then, go win today, win this week, and I'll see you next time.
Broadcasting live from Houston, from the space city to the world, you are watching NowMedia Television.
Stop and think. How often do you take the time to set goals? And when you set those goals, how often do you hit them? The problem is the word goal setting. We all have goals, but goals are just wishes. Goals are what we want. What we really need is called result setting. My name is Katrin Becker, and what I do is create tailor-made result plans that ensure people will hit their targets. If you are committed for real results, let's chat and see which program is right for you and your team. Goals are just what we want, but together, results are what we will achieve.
Are you a business owner feeling overwhelmed or burnt out with no energy left for what's most important to you? In order to effectively run your business and maximize your profits, you have got to be the best possible you that you can be. Now is the time to reclaim your energy, master your schedule, and maximize your profits so you can effectively run your business rather than it running you. It's time to become the CEO of your business and life. I'm Jen Gaudet, a business strategist and life coach. I work with overwhelmed business owners who feel stuck in a rut and depleted. I teach you how to stop doing the things that aren't making you money and start prioritizing the things that bring you energy, joy, and lasting impact. I'm a human performance specialist and an international best-selling author. I've helped countless people all over the world to learn the art of saying no, overcome their fear, and maximize their performance. Let's get you to live your best possible reality. Start today and become the CEO of your business and your life.
The tax and bookkeeping team is key to any successful business. At Gunderson's Bookkeeping, our passion is to help small business owners grow, be profitable, and to prosper. We specialize in supporting small to mid-sized business owners who want to hire a full-time or even a part-time bookkeeper, but just do not have the funds. In addition, we free business owners from the tedious tasks of bookkeeping and help them focus on their business operations, their growth, and profitability. Gunderson's Bookkeeping is your business solutions partner, offering a broad range of services to meet the needs of our clients. A profitable business needs accurate and reliable books, so take a strong step and call us today for your personal, no-risk consultation.
Broadcasting live from Houston,